Hey guys, quick video about token usage specifically as it relates to GitHub Copilot and also how you can improve your overall token usage across the board with any type of plugin, any type of LLM. This is going to help you out. So as you can see here, it's talking a little bit about the change to GitHub Copilot where they stopped charging per request and started billing by the token. So now you're operating against a pool of tokens as opposed to getting charged a set flat rate per call that you make depending on the model. So how can we actually improve the way that we work with these AI models to more effectively utilize our tokens? So there are 6 main levers that I'm going to talk about here. Number 1, match the model to the task. You don't need to use Opus 4.8 to make a small change to one code file in your repo, right? So if you get into the habit of actually using the model that is most pertinent to that task, you can save a ton of tokens. Next, scope the context. So every request, like it says, input tokens are billed per request. So if you only need to work in one file, if your context is only dealing with that one file, you can only relate to that one file, add it to your agent, and it'll only operate within that, and you'll save a lot of tokens in the end. Also, the actual agent mode makes a difference as well. So completions, ask, edit, agent. Obviously, agent is going to be your most powerful one. It can do a lot, it can do everything, but it does cost a little bit more in terms of tokens. Also, you want to cut your output verbosity. This is part of the GitHub link that I'm going to share, and here has a lot of specific markdown files and agents and prompts and instructions that I have built out to actually help with this. Pull down these different instructions and different agents. You can leverage those within your repo to send prompts to your different AI agents and not use nearly as many tokens. So the way that these prompts and these instructions and the agents are designed is to ensure that the agent is only doing the work that you want it to do instead of going off into its pre-programmed routines to do a lot more than what you're asking for. Also, stop paying to reestablish context. What does that mean? If you scan a repo and you give that context to a particular agent so that it can do certain tasks, that's good, of course, that helps the agent be more effective. However, you don't want to have to do that every single time you're just doing any small thing, right? So if you add custom instructions, if you add details of your repo, where certain things are, if you use an index.md, you can tell your agent up front the context it needs to know, so it doesn't have to spend tokens actually going through the whole repo to figure out what you could just easily tell it. Also, code reviews. If you set up AI to review your pull requests, of course it's great. It's going to help you to improve your actual reduction in different issues in prod, or it'll help your code quality, different things. It can be useful. However, it does use a lot of tokens, so keep that in mind as well. Also, the model selection matrix, right? So things like autocomplete, boilerplate code, a lot of the inline completions can do that for you very easily, as well as some simple small things, right? You don't need a massive model to actually accomplish those tasks. You can just use a mini or a Gemini Flash, something like that, and it will be able to handle that without needing all that extra logic and all that power of some of these other frontier models. So what about day-to-day chat, scoped edits, reviews, right? So if you are doing some more significant work, right, but still nothing too crazy, you can just use Sonnet. You can use GPT 5.3 Codex, 5.4, one of those decent models without actually having to go up to that higher level, which should usually be reserved for something like, laying the foundation of your code base or doing a massive refactor or architecting a new solution or strategy. Those things are what you would want to use Opus or GPT 5.5 for. So again, bringing up these files, GitHub Copilot instructions, also the way that you prompt things, that can make a huge difference in the way that your tokens are being spent. Also, to quickly touch on this point of instructions, you can see the copilot-instructions markdown file here. It lays out very easily and clearly for your AI agent what's going on in this repo, right? So you can see agents.markdown, skills, agents. This is basically pointing out to the agent where to find certain things. So instead of having to scrub through the entire repo, find this file and that file, it knows exactly where to go, and it'll return faster to you as well as use less tokens tokens to actually accomplish its job. So I also wanted to show you guys a quick sample size here of a few different prompts that I ran. Fairly basic. I just said summarize this repo for me. I ran it a few times, both with the specialized agent to reduce the tokens, as well as the agent that is not anything special, just the regular agent. And on average, even though this is a very simple request, and even though I'm just using the GitHub Copilot free version with the low-level weak models, it still on average is using less context and also returning faster and using less credits when I'm running this prompt. So this is just one quick example. Obviously your mileage may vary depending on the type of agent you're using, depending on your workflow, but you can see that this is actually legitimate, it's working, and really there's no difference in the response quality. It still gives me all the information that I need, despite being a very simple request, but I think this should be very helpful going forward. So I really encourage everybody, take a look at the GitHub repo. Let me know what you want to see. If you want me to add more prompts, add more agents to that, I'm happy to add more. There are a ton of things already out there on the internet that a lot of people are using. I was actually inspired by Caveman as one of those. I'll definitely include that link as well. You have things like Ponytail that people are talking about. So all these different agents and other markdown files to help your agents work are extremely powerful, and I hope everybody can start to leverage that more in order to reduce your token usage. Thanks.